Okay, so today's video we are going to discuss the very last maybe figure or maybe the diagram that we are going to learn how to draw in our chapter 1 or maybe in our whole syllabus here. Right. So the name we call it as box and whisker plot. It might be something new to you. I think to most of you, I believe. Okay, so you can have a look here. So as the learning outcome for today's video is we need to know how to construct and interpret box and whisker diagram from the raw data. And after that, of course, you have to know also how to solve the question related to this box and whisker plot, box and whisker diagram. Okay, so box and whisker. So this is the name of the diagram that we are going to learn today. Before you want to plot this box and whisker plots, right? Generally, what you need is you need to find numbers before you can plot it. So what are the 5 numbers here? Okay, so the 5 numbers here will be minimum value, first quartile, median, third quartile, and also the maximum value. These are the 5 numbers that you need to know before you can sketch the box and whisker plot. All right. Okay, so these are the steps to let you refer to it. Okay, so later I will demonstrate to you how to sketch it. So I'm not going through all the steps here anymore. Okay, so you can have a look in the future if let's say you need to refer it back. Okay, then generally if you look at the box and whisker plot, right, there are 2 types. You can draw it horizontally or you can draw it vertically. But usually, when we will draw a horizontal one because it saves more space, right? Okay, so for horizontal box and whisker plot, why we call it as box and whisker plot is because of this one is a box. You'll see a box in your diagram, and then you will see the whiskers in your diagram. So all these we call them as whiskers. That's why them as box and whisker plot. Okay, all right. So this is what we have. So that's the meaning of the box and whisker plot. All right. So how can we form the box actually? So the box is formed by using the 3 quartiles that you find out in the data. So you have first quartile, the value for the first quartile, the value for the median, the value for the third quartile. So when you draw 3 straight lines for the quartiles here, and after that you join these 3 lines using 2 horizontal lines, and it forms a box. And after that, when you have the lower value, right? So you put the cross on the lower value, you put the cross on the highest value, and also you try to join the lowest value to the box that you created just now. Also from the highest value to the box that you created just now. So this actually forms the box and whisker plot. Okay, so what they want you to notice here is the box extends from Q1 to Q3 and enclose the middle 50% of the data. So this is the middle 50% of the data actually. All right. Okay, so this is generally what we have, all right, for the box and whisker plot. Okay, so again, for box and whisker plot, it can illustrate the spread of distribution and also give the idea of the shape of distribution. Okay, so this part, for this diagram, maybe you see it very familiar with histogram. So in previous video, right, we actually skipped the part about the histogram, right, that talking about the shape of distribution. So maybe later after this session, I will try to explain to you, okay, how to link the box and whisker and also the histogram, okay, with the shape of the distribution or shape of the data. All right, so I will come back to this part later. Okay, all right, so let's have a look for example 27. Okay, so for this example, generally, they still give you a box and the one this is not a box and whisker, but yeah, this is I say what does it mean already? Stem plot, yeah, sorry, stem plot. Okay, so back to back stem plot. Okay, so we are having stem and leaf diagram or stem plot for 45 people who exercise and also the 63 people who do not exercise. And the figure in bracket show the number of people corresponding to each set of the value. So again, you should able to understand what does it mean by this stem plot, okay? And then how you get the result, okay? Or maybe how you get the data from the stem plots here. So there are 2 groups of the people here. Okay, so let us try to answer that question first. So the first one, they're going to give one useful feature of a stem and leaf diagram. So usually when they ask you what is the advantages or what is the stem and leaf diagram, what is the useful feature, what is the advantages, okay, of the stem and leaf diagram, the answer is always standard. You can just write out that it displays all data. Okay, because all the original data you can see it from the stem plot. Okay, and secondly, find the median and quartile of the cholesterol count for the group who do not exercise. Okay, so I believe that you learned this before lah. For the group who do not exercise means under this part. Okay, so you want to calculate and get the mean and median and also the Q1, Q3 for this set of data. So how should you do it? Right, so please recall back to the previous session. Okay, how we actually found the median Q1 and also Q3 for our data here. So I just roughly guide you again. So first I will try to add up all the values here. Actually, I'm going to add up because I know that there are 63 people who do not exercise, right? Okay, so out of 63, I want to know the median. Where is my median? So you can try to imagine that if let's say I'm having 63, okay, maybe I can put this one as 31, and then this is also 31. All right, so 31 plus 31 is 62 already. So that means there's one data in the middle. Okay, so for this value itself is the 32, the 32nd value or data from our stem plot. So that is your median. Okay, so I will want to go and see where's my 32, the 32nd value. So the first one is 4 plus 6 become 10. 10 plus 13 is 23. Okay, so after 23, right, then you need to count already lah. This is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32nd. So this is my 32nd value, okay, from the set of data. Also, if you look at the, how to say, if you look at the key here, they said 8.1 means 8.1. All right, so for first part, you can straight away write out the answer. There's no steps for it. Okay, so you can straight away write out the median is what? The median is 6.5. Okay, then after that, you try to look for the first half of your data. So the first half of your data got 31 value. So for 31 value, you want to split it become evenly. Okay, so that means what? That means that you are having 15 data and 15 data at the back. So 15 plus 15 is 30, right? So that means the middle number here, the since number will be the median for this first set of data. So where's the 16? So again, 4 plus 6 is 10. Then you start to count 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that means your median, your Q1 should be 5.4. So from here, you can write out your Q1 is equals to 5.4. Okay, then the same thing happened for the second set, the second part of the data. So you're having 31 also, right? You want to find the location of the median of this 31 data. So 15, 15. So this one is 16. So that means the 16 number after the median will be the Q3. So you can start to count. So just now this is what? This is 32, right? Or maybe you can start from now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can see that 16 is this number, which means this is your Q3 lah. So your Q3 is equals 8.3. Alright, so this is what I have, okay, for my median first quartile and also the third quartile. Alright, so we answered the second part already lah. Okay, then after that, for the third part, okay, so you are given the lower quartile, median and upper quartile for the group who exercise this one. Okay, so on a single diagram on graph paper, draw two box and whisker plot to illustrate the data. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the box and whisker plot already. Okay, so again, maybe before I start drawing anything, I will just write out or summarize the value that I have. Okay, so if do not exercise, the group that do not exercise, what is the minimum value? 3.1. Okay, and then just now you try to find out Q1, Q2, Q3, right? So Q1 is 5.4, Q2 is 6.5, Q3 is 8.3, and then the maximum value is 10.6. This is for the group who do not exercise. And then for the exercise group, what is the smallest value here? From the stem plot, you get 3.1. Okay, and then from the question on top, they tell you that it should be equals to 4.25, 5.3, 6.6, and the largest value should be 9.4. So these are the two sets of the data that you have, and this is minimum, this is Q1, Q2, Q3, maximum. Okay, so once you get all this value already, then you can start drawing the figure, drawing the plot or the diagram. Okay, so again, when you want to draw the diagram, right, you also need to have the scale of your axis. So what is the scale? So again, the smallest value start at 3.1, the largest value ends at 10.6. So maybe for me, I will just try to draw it like this. Maybe I'll start from 3 for my scale. Okay, right now I try to draw it nicer. Okay, let's say I'm having this. Okay, maybe I assume that this is 3 lah. Then this is 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then okay, so this is something like x-axis. All right, then now I will try to plot all my graph here. So I start with do not exercise first. So for do not exercise group, when I try to sketch it, the first one is 3.1, so I just put a cross. Q1 is 5.4, so maybe here you just draw a line. So how wide is the line? It depends on you. What's the height of the line is you. If your line is longer, that means later your box will look fatter or maybe bigger. Okay, so for me, usually I will use 4 boxes here. And then Q2, so Q2 is 6.5. Q3 is 8.3, so it looks something like this. So these are my Q1, Q2, Q3. So after I plot them, I will join them together. Okay, so it becomes the box of the set of data. And after that, my largest value for this group is 10.6. So here is 10.6. Okay, so after you plot the minimum and maximum, try to join them to connect with the box. So please take note that you only can touch the box and you have to stop when you reach the box. You cannot extend through the box, cannot, it is wrong. All right, so the same thing happens for maximum value here. Okay, so this is what you have. Okay, then next you can sketch on the same diagram, okay, for the exercise group. So for the exercise group, again, 3.1, I'll just put it here. 4.25 for Q1. So Q1 is 4.25. So maybe it's somewhere here. All right, then 5.3, 6.6, and then 9.4. Okay, then after that, I will try to connect my Q1, Q2, Q3 become a box. And after that, I will join the maximum and minimum with the box together. All right, so for me, I will write this is the exercise group. Okay, and then this is the do not exercise group. All right, so this should be the way how you actually sketch your box and whisker plot. All right, so if they want you to sketch 2 plots together in the same gram or same axis, then generally you need to label them clearly. Which one belongs to which group? Okay, so this is how we sketch it out, and we are having the box and whisker plot here. So what is the advantages for box and whisker plot? Okay, so the advantage of having this is because of you can actually compare the 2 set of data very easily. Like if you look at this one, generally you will see that the box consists of 50% of your data. So you will see that 50% of those people who exercise, their cholesterol level is actually lower. Then this one definitely is higher. Okay, so the maximum one you can see also is a huge difference. All right. Okay, so it is like mainly for comparison when they want you to sketch the box and whisker plot. All right, so just make sure that if you have 2 box and whisker plot in the same axis, then make sure you label them out clearly. Okay, so this is what we have lah. So this example, I believe that it is not hard, should be no problem for you, okay, to do it. Okay, all right. Then now let's continue further. Okay, so this is one of the question that is quite tricky. Why I say tricky? Later you can have a look here. It is actually a passive paper, passive question. Okay, so for this question, if you try to read this question, the birth weights of random sample of 900 babies born in country A and 900 babies born in country B illustrate in a cumulative frequency graph. So they show you the cumulative frequency graph on top. Use suitable data from the graph to compare the central tendency and the spread of birth weights of the two set of baby. If you read this question right, they actually didn't give you a very clear instruction what you need to do. They just want you to show that by using the data from this graph, okay, they want you to compare central tendency and also to compare the spread of the birth weights. So at first, when students look at this question, right, they feel blur also. They feel like, what they want actually. Okay, but no matter how you try to do some analysis before, and then you have to analyze a little bit more before you can decide what kind of graph you want to draw. Okay, so like this one, central tendency. What kind of central tendency are we having? We are having mean, we have median, we have mode. Okay, and then for the spread of birth rate, what do we have here is we have range, we have standard deviation or variance. Okay, so you also have the quartiles to measure the spreadness. Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, the graph given on top, right? This is actually both of them are cumulative frequency. So from a cumulative frequency graph, will it be possible for you to get the mean? Will you be able to get the mode? Also can. Then the only way that you can get is the median. Okay, so the same thing happened here. We actually use the cumulative frequency graph to estimate the quartile, right? So if let's say you can draw median and you can draw quartile, right? So to compare, they ask you to compare, right? Compare two set of data from median and quartile, then generally you should know that you should draw box and whisker plot. So you can see that it is very tricky actually, because a lot of students, they actually don't know what the question was. Okay, all right, so here I roughly tell you, okay, how we decide to know that we have to draw the box and whisker plot. Okay, all right, so let's start. To make sure that you can see what I did clearly, so I will cancel off this part, or the wording part. If you look at your graph, or if you look at your notes, you will see that actually I purposely put the graph below tally. Okay, tally with the graph on top. Okay, so what I can do is I can move up everything. Okay. Okay, cannot wait. Okay, so you can see that they match each other one. So which means you will see the box is tally with each other. Therefore, what I want you to do is like actually I want to label it according to the label that they have also. Okay, so I will let you see that this is my x-axis, and I will label this as 0. I will label this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly, I follow the what they have on top. Okay, all right, so now we are having 900 babies, right, in both countries. So now I want to try to find out the minimum, maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3 from the graph. Okay, so what is the minimum? So you can see that, okay, maybe I find all the value for country A first. Country A first. This is country A, right? Okay, so what is the minimum value for country A? So both of them start at this one, which is 1. Okay, so that means that the babies, usually the lowest is 1 kilo. Okay, right. Then after that, what else do we have? I want to see what's the maximum for A. So if you scroll up, the maximum value for A is here. So what is the maximum value for A? For the country A, so it is 4. That means for country A, the largest baby weight 4 kilo only. Okay, all right. Okay, then next, I settle the maximum and minimum already. Then I want to find out Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, so for country A, Q1, Q2, Q3, we need to do is like, okay, you are having 900 baby divided by 2. So to get the median, you need to read the value for 4 from 450. So here is 450. You can draw a line, okay, horizontally to touch the graph that you have and scroll down and reflect down. So you should know that this is the value for your what? For the median. So what's the value of median here? It will be 2.05. So that means on the graph below, you label it at the same place also, which is 2.05. Okay, so this is your median, 2.05. Wait, I draw again. Okay, then next, how about first quartile? So for first quartile, you take 900 divided by 4. So if you take 900 divided by 4, what do you get? You should get 225. Okay, so 225. So you agak, so where's your 225? When 225 is slightly higher, is it? Okay, so 225 might be somewhere here. Okay, so again, you sketch the graph. You draw the line, touch the graph, and reflect it down. So what is the first quartile that you have? More or less is at 1.5. So what you can do now is more or less at 1.5, you draw the line. Okay, then the same thing happened for Q3. So Q3 means 3 times 900 divided by 4. Okay, so what do you get here? You should get 675. Okay, so where's 675? Close to 700, 680. So you draw again and you try to reflect it. Okay, so when you try to reflect it down, what is the value here? Okay, so the value here will be more or less like 2.4 like that, more or less like 2.4. Okay, so you plot the 5 numbers already. Then now you can start to create the box. So you just join the line together to create the box. And then this one, you connect it together also. Okay, so you're done with the box and whisker plot for country A. Okay, then now you go for country B. The same thing applies. So for the country B is the smallest value is still a 1. So maybe for country B, you can draw it at the bottom. Okay, then the largest value for country B is here. So what is this value? You need to look for it. Okay, so if you draw the line down, you should get 5.5. So that means the maximum of country B is 5.5. Okay, then after that for Q1, Q2, Q3, you do the same thing. The value here are all the same. From 450, you just extend the line to B1 to the country B, and you try to figure out what is the value here. And then you try to draw it. Okay, so the same thing applies for Q1 and also Q3. Yeah, so here I skip the process of finding it out in detail. Your graph, you didn't do any careless mistake, right? Your graph should look more or less like this. Okay, so wait, 4 point. Okay, and then after that, another one is 4.5 something. Okay, so if you join it together, then your graph should look something like this. So this is for country B. Okay. All right. So after you sketch a graph to help you have a look already, then now they are asking, okay, they actually ask you to compare, right? Compare the central tendency and compare the straightness of the both weights. So when you want to compare it, please write out 2 conclusions about your comparison. So the fund talk about the median. Okay, or maybe you can just do anything that is related, okay, to the data. So if let's say I want to talk about median, okay, so you can see that the median for country A is this one, right? This is median for country A. This is median for country B. So which country has the higher median? Okay, that means country B. So if let's say higher median means what in this case? That means you're having higher weight. So you can tell them that weight, the babies in country B okay, so the babies in country B is heavier. Okay, so this is to comment about or compare about the central tendency median. Okay, then now you need to compare about the spreadness. Okay, which country's baby has a greater spread of weight? Country B also. So you can write, well, baby in country B has greater spread of weight. Okay, so that means how I know about the greater spread of weight. So it is because of you can look at the either you can look at the minimum maximum value or you can look at for the box. So you see the box is longer here, 50%, right? But it covers from smaller number to the larger number. Compare with box number A, all of them are grouped under the smaller number side. Okay or not? So from here you know that the in country B has a greater spread of weight. So you look for the length of your box. If let's say your box is longer, that means it has greater spread. Okay, if let's say the box is smaller and shorter, that means they have a shorter spread of weight. Okay, all right. So this particular question is quite special to me. I think it's quite special. Therefore, I put it in our notes here to discuss. All right. So again, if let's say you in exam you face this kind of question, then always remember you can use your box plot, okay, to help you to compare the data. All right. So this is what we have for this example 28. Okay, all right. But again, if you read the question one more time, you can see that they totally didn't tell you what you need to do. They just want you to compare the data. Okay, but in the marking scheme, they actually ask us to draw the box plot. So you have to know it is related to box plot here. Okay, all right. So this is how we actually sketch our box plot and then how we look at it to roughly compare two sets of data. Okay, so for the next video, we will continue with outliers, all right, which is more based on calculation. Okay, all right, so I'll stop here for this video first, then we come back, okay, to the shape of the distribution and also the outliers.